Yo, what is good, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to teach you how to play Scryer, aka Bow Orb. Now, there are a lot of different ways to play Scryer, and you can play this as like a defensive endurance-based class. You can play it as a pure glass cannon DPS. You could play it with evasion. Um, you could focus on healing. You could focus on magic damage. You could focus on range damage, or you could have mixed damage. However, I have tried most of these builds, and the best build for Scryer or Bow Orb that is for the current meta is Glass Cannon because Bow performs the best in large scale. It performs the best when you have competitive teammates, when you have pocket healers, when you have supporting front lines, so that you can sit back and free cast. Because of this, having the most damage possible is BIS. The secondary best build would probably be like pure endurance, heavy attack, hit, endurance, heavy attack, hit. However, you lose so much damage going this build that I don't think it's worth it. So what I'm going to be doing for this video is going to be a little different. I'm going to be showing not only my build, not only my skills. I'm going to show you here in a second, but I'm also going to show you clips of different scenarios and gameplay, large scale, small scale, 1vx, etc. Right? Hopefully, this gives you a good breakdown on A, how to play the class, and B, gives you some theories on how maybe you specifically would like to play the class because everyone's different. And maybe the way I'm playing it isn't the way you want to play it, but it inspires you to make a similar build. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into it. Hopefully, you guys like the video. All right, so I'm here on my character. I'm just going to start by showing you guys a build that I have come up with that will avoid nerfs to Orb. This build will avoid all nerfs. None of the upcoming Orb nerfs will harm this build. This is why I'm showing it to you guys. In some of the clips, I was using Stellar Dash instead of Supernova. However, I removed Stellar Dash to prepare for the nerf. Summon Constellation is not getting nerfed. Supernova is somewhat getting nerfed CC wise, but its damage isn't getting nerfed, and the stun specialization is not getting nerfed. It's the movement speed that's getting nerfed on Supernova. So this build's still gonna be like 99% viable. It's nothing's really changing. But you'll see here I'm using Amplification Veil. That's a heal and a damage amp. I get 15% increased base damage, which is huge. So it's increasing all damage. My range damage and my magic damage. Huge. Healing Touch, which is healing me based on base damage. So the more damage, the more healing. Restoring Constellation, which is increasing my restoration. So it increases the restoration of Healing Touch. And I gain health based on the damage I take. So 110% of the base damage plus bonus damage plus healing is going to be returned to me every time I'm hit. So I'm healing with 3 skills, and then when I'm in my worst situation, like let's say I stealth, I usually will stealth blitz. That way I have another stealth if I really need it. After that first stealth blitz, you can Nature's Blessing, and that's going to increase your healing based off of the amount of healing touches and give you insane health regen. So I have 4 healing skills in this build. So if you don't anti-heal me, or if you don't one-shot me, I'm probably going to own you. All right. Summon Constellation, Supernova, we kind of talked about that. If you ever catch someone in a Supernova, you can ensnaring arrow them into the Supernova. That way they don't dash out. So if you bind them into the Supernova, they'll get pulled into the Supernova. I do like sometimes using the stun effect, but it's not really necessary right now. After the nerf, we'll probably be using the stun effect a bit more. Um, like I said, Temporal Leap, I usually blitz. However, if you are really like in a good advantageous spot, and you're not being like hunted or you're not being tracked, you can ensnaring arrow blitz ensnaring arrow to ensure that you're getting binds off to ensure you're getting kills and your like enemies can't escape. That's very situational though. You can also even blitz strafing. However, it's an 8 second cooldown. Same thing with ensnaring arrow. 8 second cooldown. Usually I like blitzing temporal leap because temporal leap is going to reset my cooldowns anyway. So I'm resetting my cooldowns while resetting the skill that resets my cooldowns. While again getting another skill that resets my cooldowns. Do the math. All right, ensnaring arrow and the snipe, insanely good one shot, and then also you could also strafing, Zephyr's knock, ensnaring arrow, snipe. That's a really good combo. You could ensnaring arrow, strafing, Zephyr's knock. You have to be very sure that you only use Zephyr's knock when either A, your opponent's almost dead, or B, when you're about to have more strafing up. That way you can get more bullseye stacks, because with strafing it increases your bullseye stacks, which increases the damage of your other bow skills. So if you ever want max damage from your decisive sniping, you would strafing, ensnaring arrow, decisive sniping, and then you would Zephyr's knock after the combo, because you want to ensure that you still have your bullseye stacks. So let me show you what some of these combos are gonna look like. So we would say like, all right, let's say ensnaring arrow, strafing, Zephyr's knock. That's like basic combo, okay? And then what we can do is strafing, ensnaring arrow, decisive sniping, Zephyr's knock. That's a really good combo as well. Another combo we can do is a mix between ranged magic. Let's say you hit somebody with your ranged skill, you don't do any damage. Strafing, ensnaring arrow, summon constellation, supernova, Zephyr's knock. That should usually kill that target, and what will happen is anybody that's near that summon constellation will get sucked in, and you can go in for another combo. So this class is honestly is kind of complicated sometimes with its combos. Another thing that I want to show you guys now, this is a bomber combo, and this is the reason I swapped to this build. Like Stellar Dash makes this a single target. I mean, you kind of have some AoE with Stellar Dash, but I made this build because it's a bombing build, right? So I have double stealth. What you can do is you can temporal leap into a group if they don't see you, right? And you can get close enough within 3 seconds. You need to be within 3 second walking distance, because you're only gonna have 3 seconds of stealth, maybe 4 with buff duration. So you need to temporal leap, blitz, so you have another temporal leap to escape, temporal leap, blitz, and then you're going to get really like close enough that you can use summon constellation. You're going to ensnaring arrow, summon constellation. You can Milky Way after, it does a lot of damage. Supernova collapse, and then you're gonna stealth or run away. So what this looks like is stealth, blitz, ensnaring arrow, summon constellation, Milky Way, supernova, stealth, and run away. That is your bombing combo, and this will completely disrupt mid lines and groups of enemies that are clumped together. Doing this allows your not only like you to get off more like free damage, but it disrupts the enemy team and allows your whole team to get off more damage. Like I said, this is a GVG. It's a competitive build. So that's mostly how I'm playing. The skill setup. I'll go ahead and show you guys my current skill specializations really quickly. Let me know what you think. Comments, concerns. Movement speed on Amplification Veil is really useful, really useful for this class. Having the cooldown speed is really good too. That way you can spam Amplification Veil and always keep up base 15% damage. Supernova Collapse for the area increase and for the extra damage on the effect. Summon Constellation damage boost is necessary, absolutely necessary. This also, you need Nursadum's orb. So these are my bow. Nothing special there, but you need Ancient Demonic Beast Command into your Heroic Orb, or you need Nursadum's in order for this build to truly be best, because Summon Constellation does damage without Nursadum's, but with Nursadum, it does damage. Clear difference. Obviously, Tevin's bow it's not really like 100% necessary, but this build is insanely better with Tevin's bow. Like you could use a Heroic bow instead of a Heroic Orb, which is probably what I would recommend with the nerfs coming to Orb. However, Summon Constellation by itself is enough reason alone to use Heroic Orb, because Summon Constellation is insanely good, and even like pure evasion users can't usually evade Summon Constellation. Like, especially if you use Deadly Marker or if you bind them, they're definitely not going to evade it because it's too many hits. So Also, I would rather not dismantle my Tevin bow. So if you go heroic bow and you put in Tevin bow, amazing. Or if you go heroic bow and you put in like something else, it'll be decent. But I don't know, Tevin bow is just cracked, man. T2 Tevin bow is gonna slap. So enough about that. Currently using 4-piece Brute Slayer, Glass Cannon, no defensive stats. Hit chance, attack speed, range on gloves is really important. Currently using Hellfire Cloak, bonus damage, crit damage, crit hit chance, just a little bit of extra crit from the boots, even though they're not leather. As you'll see, it's just crit, heavy attack bonus. It's literally just DPS stats. I have some hit on my rings, which these will be replaced with heroics, or one of these will be replaced. I'll probably replace the non-crit ring because I'm going to be going for a crit heavy attack build. Belt of the Sun King with range hit chance. Notice my runes though. Hit chance, range hit chance on the belt. Your hit is important for your ranged, and your crit automatically helps your magic. But I'm mostly using ranged runes now with this build, preparing for the nerfs to orb. Crit hit chance on the bow is really nice because it works for both. Um, Heavy attack chance is nice on weapon because it works for both, right? But for my necklace and my belt, I'm using mostly ranged because I am primarily range damage, especially with Tevin's bow. I'm only using orb as support. Those are my stats. That's my gear, skill specialization. I'm gonna go ahead and show you my mastery really quickly. This will be in the quest log, so you don't really have to hyper focus on my mastery, but the consumption of bullseye or the reapply of bullseye stacks is really good for longer fights. However, it doesn't take priority over rhythmical shooting. Rhythmical shooting is first in priority, and then like for orb, the crit damage of light of annihilation, it boosts your crit damage even like because I'm using a bonus damage set, I'm getting an insane amount more crit damage because of this. And it's really good, like really good for the current meta because I can go a full T3 set and not worry so much about crit damage because you get more crit damage from T2 sets. And then I'm using Breath of Infinity for the extra healing because I have a lot of healing in this build. So running some healing and some healing runes really helps with Breath of Infinity. And then yeah, take a quick look at my passives. I mean, double stacking shields, getting extra healing, extra crit on bound, extra damage and hit, extra damage, extra damage. These autos are really useful, especially because you're using bow. You can like almost always weave in autos into your combos because they're so fast. You have so much attack speed, and you have so much range. Stellar Echo is 100% worth it because of the insane amount of extra damage it applies. Highly, 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 highly effective, and it also even amplifies your orbs if you were to use Summon Constellation, and then auto after with Stellar Echo. Yeah, that is my build, you guys. All right, so hopefully you enjoy the clips that are to follow this tutorial. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Peace and love.